Welcome, it's your friendly neighborhood Badger here, and I am back with my first look / review of the Stash Tab Affinities and Stash Tab folders brought in the patch that is released on the 5th of November 2020. Grinding Gear Games have released some Stash Tab Affinity quality of life implementations to Path of Exile, and as we know, Stash Tabs are basically everything about this game. It's where you store all of your items, it's where you pick your items up from, and if you're in a trade league, it is also where you sell your items from. Previously, before this update, a lot of you may know something like this, what we call a dump tab. Now, a dump tab is any sort of tab where you can just kind of chuck everything in that you don't want to sort at any time, and then you're like, oh, I'll come back and I'll sort that later. But you usually have to sort this manually, which is very, very, very interesting and quite time-consuming. Well, interesting is not quite the word. However, in this new patch, Grinding Gear Games have introduced Stash Tab Affinities. What this does mean, and I might demonstrate straight away just with a base tab, because you can do this on any base tab. So I'm going to bring this right to the front here, and we can have a quick little look here. As you right-click to customize your Stash Tab, you'll notice all of these tick boxes. And these are the 10 different types of, I guess, league mechanics that are sortable via Stash Tab Affinities. So, you Blight, Delirium, Divination cards, Fragments, Metamorphs, Currency, Delve, Essence, Maps, and Uniques. Now, you can, with your base 4 Stash Tabs for a new account, you can still use these Stash Tab Affinities. So say, for example, in your first tab, you wanted to store something like Metamorph, and let's say Metamorph and Essences, right? Let's click on Metamorph and Essences for that first one, and then I'll bring another one back here, and we want in this one to include Blight and Currency. So let's do that right there, and we've got our Stash Tab Affinities there. So what I'm going to do now is just get a little bit of Currency. I'm going to get some Blight stuff and some, hang on, what were we doing in this first one? Blight and Currency, and then this one was doing Metamorph and Essence, all right. So we're going to go to our Blights here, and get a bunch of these ones. Then we're going to go to our Metamorphs and Essences, so we'll grab a few Essences. We'll go to our Metamorphs over here, and let's grab a few of these as well. Now, with all of these items here in my tab, we can control-click now anywhere that you are in your tab. It will just put all of these into the tabs that you have selected, which is absolutely amazing. So I can just basically click all of this and sort it to everywhere. So you can imagine that if you've got lots of different tabs with all of the different types of affinities, this is going to be absolutely amazing to be able to sort things. It's going to make the quality of life so much better, and it already has. Now, one thing to note with all of this that I have noticed, and I think it's a good thing, because it would get a little bit confusing if not, now that I basically put the currency affinities here, I cannot have the currency affinities on my actual currency tab. So I can right-click this one, I can click currency here, and that will take the affinity off here. So you can only have one tab for one specific affinity. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to get rid of both of these now, and get rid of those affinities, which is quite nice there. That is basically everything. So you can just control click it all, which is super, super nice. And you may have seen that at the beginning of the video as well. Basically, there's no downside to this. It's all upside, and the plus side that you can do it with the base 4 stash tabs that you get given when you're playing free in Path of Exile, it's just going to make it that much easier for people to get into the game. Now, it is a little bit difficult to understand if you haven't played Path of Exile much, and you're like, what exactly are all of these things? What exactly is your your Blight, your Divination card, your Essence, all that kind of stuff. But over time, it will make sense. And even if you just set up stash tabs that at least have one of each, you'll be able to then tell, oh, okay, so that's sorting into that tab, so that's a part of the Metamorph set, It's going to be really, really helpful to also teach people what is what, and it's going to be really, really great. So obviously with the purchasable tabs, and I do have, I think, all of them now, The purchasable tabs, you can basically just sort everything into all of these purchasable tabs. Now, you notice the Metamorph tab, you can only obviously have an affinity of Metamorph right there, so it just basically has that right there for you. Now, a very, very good point straight away to do for this auto sorting is to click this stash options up here. This stash options is going to have a button here which originally is unticked, and it says Affinity Auto Navigation. Now, you want to click this one on if you want the affinity sorting through multiple different tabs. If you don't do this, it's not going to jump between tabs itself, and you're going to have to manually switch between the tabs. So definitely switch that one on. So that's basically it for the affinity tabs themselves, but what about tab folders? Now, this is extremely straightforward, but it's another really, really good quality of life. You can also click this button here to create a new folder, and you can create folders with lots of different things. You can put anything in there that you want. And so, say for example, I could drag this one right in there. I could put that right there. I'm going to take that out just because I don't want to keep it there, and I'm going to put this one back in here. But as you can see, I've got quite a few different things in this dump tabs folder. So I've got 4 different dump tabs. I've got my Badger shop where I've got big sell items and then getting a little bit cheaper as we go on. Then I've got bases, which I don't have anything at the moment, but like conquerors, that sort of thing. And then you can do anything else that you want with these. That is pretty much it. There's not much to say about stash tab folders other than, again, really, really great quality of life. That is everything that I do have to share with this update. It is absolutely amazing that we didn't have to pay a single cent for this update. Grinding Gear Games has brought us so much quality of life and content in this update. I don't think they even fully realize, well, they probably do, but it's really, really game-changing. This is going to be game-changing for people who race. This is going to be game-changing for people who don't have much time to play in the day. It's going to mean that they don't have to, sort their dump tabs, which takes like, an hour or 2 hours or something like that, depending on how much you actually dump into them. And that's pretty much it. So I can just end everything here by basically just going over here. I can pick out quite a few things over here. Anything that I do have. I'll just pick out quite a few different things. And some of these won't go in, but some of them will. So basically, I can just pull some stuff out, and then I can just see, if anything's going to actually get put in where it needs to get put, which is pretty much all of this kind of stuff, right? Chuck that in, and that'll all just go in. Then the rest of this stuff here, we just know that, okay, that's not sortable at the moment. I'm going to deal with that differently. That is it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button down below or that like button. It's totally up to you. But it does help me out a lot. And if you do want to come and catch me live over at twitch.tv/thisisbadgergaming, there is also a link down below. You can definitely check that one out. And lastly, you may have noticed I have some pretty cool symbols on all of my stash tabs here. I'll also put a link down below to a Reddit post where someone just brought up all of the ASCII symbols that work with Path of Exile stash tabs, and you can copy and paste anything in there that you want. I like to, put little pictures on them to make them look quite a little bit prettier. So, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, Badger out.